Welcome back to the Big Ranch Show. Thank you for joining me. There's been a lot of stuff going on lately, and most of it has not been good. In fact, most of it has been downright awful, terrible. Not really any other way to describe it. America is full of unrest due to innocent people sometimes, and other people not innocent, still unarmed, being gunned down by police. And I'm sorry to tell you this, folks, but it's not going to change. It's not getting any better. Because it continues to happen. Unarmed Americans continue to be gunned down by police, day in and day out. And something has to change. If we want to fix it, something has to change. We can't keep doing business as usual. Just the other day, Jacob Blake was shot in the back at close range. Later we find out that yes, he was maybe in a place he didn't belong, but that's not the point. Does him being somewhere, or possibly trespassing somewhere, does that really constitute a death warrant? Or in his case, being paralyzed? Police are not judge, jury, and executioner in this country. That is not how it works. I don't care what Donald Trump tells you. I don't care what other people tell you. That is not how America works. It's not how America is supposed to work. There's absolutely no reason for what happened in Wisconsin on Sunday. Absolutely no reason. Yes, I don't care that he may have scuffled with police at some point. I don't care if he tried to get in his car and flee the scene. It's something I was taught at a young age. Don't ever run from police. Why? Because they have radios and they'll catch you anyway. So all they had to do was let the guy go. And let somebody else get him later when things had calmed down. Now maybe I'm crazy for that. Maybe letting things calm down is just a concept foreign to most people. But you know what? When I get in a fight with somebody, with a friend or something, or somebody I didn't even know, why would I stand there and keep fighting if one of us can just walk away? This man apparently had kids in his car. You can't tell me the police didn't know that, because there is no way that when your father is drugged down on the ground on one side of the car that the kids aren't screaming. That's not even possible. So you can't tell me the parents or the kids were not noticed in the vehicle. Secondly, there's this misinformation out there about the situation as well. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that he's perfect. The guy had his issues, sure. But the misinformation that I'm seeing has to do with what the police said about the shooting. It has nothing to do with the police. The police did the right thing and talked about what happened. I believe the police department there is doing the best they can, because they're having to deal with the protests, the riots, and what happened. And I think they're doing a good job of trying to handle the situation. But they said that there happened to be a knife found in the car. There was a knife found in the vehicle. There are a lot of right-wing people out there on Twitter trying to tell you it was on his person. But the police said themselves that that was found after the shooting. That right now they don't know if any of the officers at the scene ever saw this knife in the vehicle. Now, maybe I come from a weird place, but down in Texas, people carry knives all the time. In their vehicle. On their person. But a lot of people carry them in their vehicle. Along with firearms, of course, because it's Texas. But there is absolutely no reason to be spreading misinformation. This man is paralyzed because of the actions of an officer who not only showed no respect for human life, he didn't respect the children that he could have shot a bullet could have ricocheted and killed them. And say he did have a knife. Okay, you back up, right? What's he going to do with a knife? If you back up and give time and space, what happens? You give him time to put the weapon down. If he lunges for you, that's a different story, right? But you didn't give him a chance. 3 minutes is the time that elapsed from the time the police arrived and he was shot. Now, I think it's amazing that this man has survived. But from what I'm being told, he's paralyzed. And there's nothing you can't take that back. Like I said, I'm not going to sit here and say the guy was perfect. Nobody's perfect. Everybody has their mistakes. But nothing he did that night or that afternoon, what he's done in the past, matters. There was no reason for him to be shot. But the fact is, the misinformation out there saying that he had a weapon on his person, it's not what the police said. The police said that there was one in the vehicle. That they are not sure if any of the other officers ever even saw it. So I'll tell you this. Things have got to change in this country. We cannot continue down this same path. We cannot continue down the same path of shooting protest riots. Something has got to change. I am so sick and tired of seeing unarmed Americans gunned down by police. Or people armed with weapons that shouldn't be a threat to somebody if they give time and space. I'm sorry, just because somebody has a knife on them doesn't mean you shoot them. There was a story out of Dallas, Texas a few years ago where a guy was armed with a screwdriver and was over 10 feet away from the officer, and the officer gunned him down. And now we're talking about a guy shot in the back at close range. One thing I was told growing up when it came to firearms, if you shoot somebody in the back, you're a coward. End of story. Now, I don't know what's going to happen with this officer. I don't know what's going to happen with Jacob Blake. But I know what happened was wrong. You don't need to be a Republican or a Democrat, a liberal, a conservative, to see that this was wrong. I don't need a political doctrine or ideology to tell me that this was wrong. It is obvious that it was wrong. From what I'm seeing and hearing, Jacob Blake was a good father. Not that he can't be a good father in a wheelchair. I spend every day in one. But you know how hard it is? It's very hard for people. And now he's going to have to spend his life living in a wheelchair. That's if he even survives entirely. I don't know what else to say about the shooting itself. But I can tell you, America, we've got to change. We have got to change. Anyways, this has been The Big Ranch Show. I've been your host, Jacob Keck, and I'll see you down the road.